Welcome everyone to our Wednesday Global Leader class. We have just 3 classes left this semester, and there is another great guest coming next week as well, who's going to be talking all about climate change and the world of changing and volatile weather. And he was had a senior position at the United Nations for many years, and he is really on top of the data. So you're going to get some great data from somebody who's been inside gathering that to really give you a good sense of what's happening with this critical phenomenon and dilemma that humanity faces. But today, what I'd like to do is give Aftab Hussain in Dhaka, in Bangladesh, he's already in the class, a chance to update us on his plan that he has taken leadership on there to deal with a disaster that happened in Dhaka. And you recall that, as you remember, terrible fire on, I think, Bailey Street in a shopping district. And essentially, what I'd like to do is give Aftab the chance to tell us how things are going, particularly Aftab, sort of what your evolving leadership role has been and how you're dealing with anything new. Maybe there's some good news, bad news. But if this were a semester where we still had more classes than just 3, then I would want to return again with him because I think this is a great experiential learning opportunity. And in addition, we have the added benefit that Aftab is somebody who has been involved with the global class for many years, and I very much value his support and growing partnership as we grow this. And I think that his example of what he's doing as he's developing into a real leader in his country has a little bit to do with what he was doing in this class as a student. So I think it demonstrates a little bit that global leadership is something that we take very seriously here, and we hope that over time the people who are in these classes will really develop into leaders in their own way, in their own communities, with that great sort of global vision. And Aftab really is the first of what might be many as we develop this initiative over the years. So essentially, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to give Mayreen a chance to update us on things that are going on with her finally official role as Global Classroom Coordinator as we uh, continue to develop and slowly ramp up for what we believe will be a significant presence at the World Expo in Osaka, Japan in 2025. So before Mayreen starts, let me just check in and see Barak is with us in the Cosmos. Burhan is there. Of course, Aftab's waiting. We have Jamie here. We have Grayson. And then, of course, there are all the students watching the recordings and writing the reflections. And I thank you for many good reflections that you're all writing. And I really appreciate some of the comments that students are making watching the recordings, saying, this is really helping me. I wish I could come to the live class, but just given where I live, things in my life, I love the way this class is available, and I feel connected to the class, even though I'm just watching the recording. And let me tell you about that in the reflection. So we have a lot of students who are engaged in this class in another way. They're watching what we do here. But for today, for now, we're going to have Grace, I'm going to have Jamie, Burhan, Barak, and Aftab, and then Mayreen and I. And we're still going to concentrate on making great notes. We really want to nail these notes down, and Maureen can help us. So, okay, so nothing from Barak, Burhan, Aftab, anything you want to say just briefly before I let Maureen give us an update? You good?
No, we are good. Let's start the class, Prof. We
Okay.
can discuss things.
Great. Okay. So, Maureen, our coordinator, global coordinator, please take it away. Go ahead.
So, hello, good morning. Updates for the global class in general is that we finally, sorry, we're finally official with our global class club. We've called it the Global Class Alliance for now. Sarah, who's the co-president, and then Ryan, we've officially like got the go ahead to go officially as a club. We're hoping to set up probably a Discord channel for everyone to kind of join and kind of keep
Oh, is
up
that the
with.
plan? I haven't heard
Yes.
everything. So go ahead. Discord chat.
So
Good.
when I
Go
was
for it.
chatting with Sarah on Friday, she said that it would be the best to set up a Discord channel. That way we can include potentially students from other universities as well, because there's like separate channels.
Great.
And so that was the plan. We haven't set it up yet, but once it is set up, I can send like students who are interested the link, and then we can go from there regarding like meetings,
Yep.
promoting the club to the students on campus, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Terrific. Um, I'd like to tell you about the two um, uh, presidents or co-presidents. Sarah Paulson is a student in the Short History of the World class, and she's in first year computer programming, a self-taught computer programmer who came back to the college a little bit older. She's in her 40s, and she's filling in the blanks on her knowledge of computer programming. So she's not only really plugged in to the online world and the tech world, but she writes really well. She's very committed to what technology can do with education and making education accessible to everyone. And then, of course, Ryan, from here, he's going to be working with Sarah as well, and then Maureen is overseeing this. So this hopefully will become more and more a student-run initiative, and I can sort of step back and really concentrate more on my teaching, my writing, and my lectures, because there's so much I still want to do in thinking about the world. But it's just a real privilege to have all of these young people taking more responsibility for this. In terms of Expo, at this point, is there anything that you think we need to be discussing briefly around the ongoing plan?
Well, in terms of timeline, as of April the 10th, which is soon approaching, we will be hitting like 1 year till Expo 2025. So I think there's like a lot of kind of build up now because there's only a year left. And then, yeah, in terms of our team, we're just hoping to submit the co-creation challenge.
Yep.
Hopefully soon, it maybe end of this week, next week. And then once we have that going, then we can apply for best practices, which the deadline is again June the 17th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully once that's said, then we can officially say that we have like we're part of the expo, and like we can kind of plan our team and student group and all of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
So
It's great. For Aftab, Burhan, Barak, or anyone else in the cosmos right now, if you'd like to uh, add anything to this part of the conversation, just raise your hand. We will hear you, and then we will come straight to you. Okay, so no problem there. I just did want to mention about the expo that Maureen and I are continuing to develop the plan of what the global classroom could grow into. And I want you to know that we're very much open to listening to what the students think this can become for the world of education. However, we have one idea that we're really beginning to work more on now. We hope that this is going to gain some traction. And that is that we are able to say to all of the world, all young people in the world, wherever they may be, particularly in areas where they are lacking access to quality education, that they can join this space online for free. And they can come in and perhaps even receive some sort of certificate or credential or microcredit that would allow them to take to other institutions to help them improve their educational opportunities back home. Um, we're working on that, and there's also another idea that I hope we can develop too. The really big idea, which is we think we've created a prototype in this space for a new kind of revolutionary, almost classroom that is open to the world with really good tech here, space, the couches, being live on YouTube. Imagine if we could help institutions all over the world in all countries to have their own global classrooms where we could provide them with discounted technology, working with the manufacturer of this $500,000 video wall to enable a network to be built all around the world of global classrooms everywhere that connect and that also are open to the young people who may not be in institutions, but can come to those institutions and join in person or join online. The Superflex Multimedia Global Network. That is, and this is going to be the hard sell, is free. And I think Sarah and Maureen and Ryan and probably all of you here understand that part of it, that education must be a fundamental human right for every single person on this planet. And until we can remove money making from education and simply say, great education is all that matters, and we're prepared to not take a lot of money at all, or any money we take will go right back into the class, I think we're still going to see a lot of ignorance and intolerance in the world. So we're really committed to this. And I loved what Sarah wrote recently in the application for the club here, that she is very committed to this idea of free worldwide access to quality education. Not Zoom, not, open lectures, but interaction, classes, people in person all over the world connecting. Something like that. So we'll nail it. We'll nail it. But we're on our way, and we're very open to all your suggestions. So um, let's move on. I just want to always make sure that we can update you on this because we're taking it seriously. Is there anything, Jamie, Grayson, you'd like to add at this point? Or Jazeel? Yeah, Jazeel's just come in. Great. Please go ahead, and then we'll move to Aftab in Dhaka. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like the idea of it being like a global classroom and being access to all. Um, I truly believe that education should be free. Part of, like you said, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
a right. What you want to do sounds like what UC Berkeley and Harvard does with their online classes. So they'll have a core class and then they record. Usually, it's
This is
just.
true. But
But
yeah, go ahead.
no,
Yeah,
no.
you see the difference. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
I would say it'd be interesting that if
Yeah.
part of your class you could get professors from other colleges, put them on the big screen, and have sort of guest lecturers of their respective fields.
And the difference, Jamie, is we're not going to be paying them a lot of money. So we can't go to the
Yeah.
agent and say we're going to pay you 20,000 US to be. If that's what you want, that's something else. That's not us. And I think
Yeah,
there are a
no.
lot of educators out there that will say we're ready. We believe that the education is more important than profit. Something like that. But
I think that most teachers and researchers probably feel the same way.
yeah.
They just want to do the science. They want to pass on that knowledge rather than just saying, okay, well, I'll give it to you, but I need $5.
Yeah. That's right. And I would say one thing about, UC Berkeley and California or Harvard or Stanford or American universities or others, and, London School of Economics, Open University in England, and a lot of others that do this, is if you notice that it's always when they have these open classes, it's just the lecturer standing there, and you never see the students. They're kind of there, and they're there,
Yeah.
but they haven't taken the step yet.
It's just a camera at the back that just
Yeah.
focuses down
And that's great. I mean, and that's TED as well. What we're going to be is interaction and the big board, bringing in the rest of the world. And imagine if all over the world others had big boards like this, and they're interacting with other. Anyways, that's the idea. Okay, we're
I
working
like
on
it.
it. So, Jamie, you're always have a standing invitation, but no pressure to, be involved. All of you. Okay. Just a second. I see a hand. Aftab, go ahead.
Well, Prof, I would like to add a point like the global class globally could be also a platform for young researchers, or not young, it could be for all the researchers, because we do write, we do publish, but uh, I believe most of the young students, undergraduate students, they don't go for the research articles. So
Yes.
if the students have the chance to listen to the researchers about their recent articles or write-ups, what how the research world is going on, it could be a good platform just to listen how the research is going on globally.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be another
And
option.
and the important thing about focusing on research and young research is good information, good
Yes,
scholarship.
I
That's
can
that's
I
what,
can I can directly help you with that.
well,
I have
even if
a
you
good network.
even if you said you can't help me, I would say Aftab, you're going to help me because we need you.
I can because I have quite a good a research network, including in Harvard or Oxford and Cambridge. I know some professors; they know me, so I can connect you to the global class, so they can come and discuss.
Yeah, it's great.
But they are mostly relevant to my field: journalism, communication, social media.
Yeah, yeah,
They are mostly relevant to my research area.
for sure. Jamie, did I see you wanted to add something, or go ahead? Yeah,
I was just gonna say, like, I like his idea because it's a great way for young researchers to get their name out there.
yeah,
Like you said, their articles may not otherwise be seen by the general public, and this way, um, it just brings them to light.
yeah.
Also the
Exactly.
undergrad students, they can find interest that I'm a first year undergrad student, I want to do research, so I want to follow that researcher, that work, because what we face in the early young age researchers, among the researchers, the writer's block or the thinking block. So if they comes here, the researchers, the young people can follow them, and they can follow their write-ups, and they might find interest. Not all, maybe 1 out of 10 or 20 students can find their interest on a specific field. If one class creates one researcher, that's a great achievement, I guess.
Well, it's oh great, Richie's coming in. It's the missing piece of this plan that we've been trying to develop has been someone like Maureen, and at last we have a person who can dedicate with coordinating to building a database and all sorts of things that we're going to do. So, anyways, thank you all. We'll continue to update you, and please continue to tell us in the reflections that you do, in emails, or even here what you think of this, because ultimately this is for young people, and it's about our future, and you're the future, and so am I. It's just I'm a little older, and anyway, you'll be around. I won't always be. And so, okay, yeah, go ahead, Aftab.
Oh, I might forget later. Marine, could you please give me the Japan Expo details when you are free? Because I might join there in Japan Expo next year.
Oh, great. Okay, so
Uh,
we'll probably get a WhatsApp group or something going for the planning on that. Yeah. Okay.
so
Good.
if I join there from my university, I can join both to
Oh,
represent both my department, my university, and both global class. My university might sponsor my visit to Japan Expo. So
great.
okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Do we already have a collaborator from Bangladesh? Yeah, Aftab. Yeah. And Ajoy, I don't know if Ajoy is going to be with us today, but he's also been so helpful. But actually, Aftab was the first. He was the first from Bangladesh, and he has been so important with this. Okay, so let's move on and give Aftab a chance to really tell us about what's happening. Give us an update and take, 10 or 15 minutes, not too long, but not too short, 10, 15 minutes to update us. We didn't have a chance to put together a video to push out on social media. It just we didn't have enough time, but we'll do that again in the future, Aftab. Okay, so and we can
Yes,
also take this class as well afterwards and do some promoting of the recording, so that people see what you are saying and can
okay,
follow your sort of journey at this point. Please go ahead.
okay. Thank you, Prof. I have sent a couple of pictures on WhatsApp
Yep. Okay, let
to
me
the
check.
group.
Yep.
Yes.
Go ahead.
One,
All
two group pictures. First one is was on 10th of March, the convocation day. So this is what we did for our student Tushar Hauladar. Actually, he died on the fire incident. So we remembered him during the convocation on behalf of the university. We
could you email them to could you
uh,
email them to me after just now? It's just a little easier. Hold on, it's got a bit of a tech moment here. I want to be able to put
okay.
quickly
I'm
these pictures.
sending an email.
Yeah, I could do it. Yeah, send it on an email and keep talking about what you're doing. And while you're talking and updating, I will get the pictures from email and put them up on the big board. Okay.
Okay, I'm sending the pictures. Just give me 30 seconds.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Uh,
Eventually, we'll
I'm
be able to.
sending you to sending directly to you. Is it okay?
Yeah, send it to Lon Appleby at
Yes,
durhamcollege.ca, and
I've
I.
already sent it.
Okay.
I've
Good.
already sent it.
Here we
So
go.
the thing is, first of all, we have done till now we have done three type of activities. Like for our student Tushar Hauladar who got died that day, and he was getting his convocation on 10th of March, but 29th February he died because of the fire incident. So we remembered him on 10th of March, the entire convocation. On the convocation day, we had more than 6,000 students who got graduation. So we prayed for him, and we maintained a 1 minute silence before the convocation started to remember him. And also on behalf of him, we declared some from our university. We declared some financial facility to his family, because he was the only child, only boy from of his father, because he has another sister who is going to school right now. So his family, he was actually supposed to take the responsibility of his family, because his father is getting old. He's already old. So
Mm.
we are planning to give some financial benefits to his family, so that they can actually get some basic food supply from that money for their entire family. So then that will be an insurance amount around $5,000
Great.
to the family. And also I have sent you the email.
Yeah, here we
We
go. So I've got the
in
two.
our class of,
You'll
yes,
see on the
in
big
our
board.
class
I'll
of,
go. Let me come back to
yes,
first the
class
one you
of,
were just talking about, because that was a good
yes,
picture of
okay,
the student.
class of 2024 of journalism department. We made a poster of him, and we uh, remembered him. And this will be this picture will go to the leaderboard of the department. So he will be always there among us, because every year the so in the class of 2024, all these students, some of them are missing, but mostly are here. He was there as a student of class of 2024. And this picture, it was his internship defense, from his internship defense day, 1 month, uh, a picture taken a month ago. So we remembered him by making him in the center. So
Great.
these two things we are trying to do. And after a month, in after Eid, maybe later April, we'll collect the mark sheets, the graduation certificate, because he completed all his courseworks and internships. So we'll collect all these certificates and his gown. We are going to go to his home and give them to his parents, and also the check of for his family, to support, to show the support that university is with the alumni as well. So this is our
It's great.
policy.
I just want to make sure you can see now, right? As you
Yes.
look at the video conference, you can see the room and the picture behind me, right? After
Right, right,
great. Okay,
right.
good. and for all of you, just think about the fact that here is a fellow student who died in a tragedy. There are students here on campus, by the way, who die during tragedies. Now, I'm not going to turn this discussion into uh, something about why they died, but I think that it's pretty inspiring, if we could call it that, a time of grieving, that this group of students, here they are, um, care a lot about the student who is no longer with us. And that's an example of significant leadership, I think. I just wanted to point that out because maybe you wouldn't make that connection, but I want to be able to elevate the discussion to how all of this relates also to us here. And Aftab's example and the example of his students, I think, can teach us something too. Okay. Anyways, all right. Let me just get that other picture up for you, Aftab, and then please keep going. Okay.
Okay.
Here it is.
And here is another picture. It is like we, the current students and the teachers, we all sat together and we set the agenda of how and why the accidents are happening in Dhaka city, the fire accidents. So we decided to, it was actually a fasting break community meeting, like we call it that iftar. So after the fast in the evening, we break the fast altogether. So we broke the fasting to altogether, and the running students, it's a partially, some of our running students, we met together in the cafeteria, and we decided how we can write on the issues related to fire safety. So we decided how we are going to work, and we made a roadmap and until July 2024. So by July, we'll create some contents on fire incidents, how to be safe, how to know what is safe, some write-ups, some from my course, digital and social media, they will be creating infographics. For the documentary course, they will be making documentary, and photography course, they will be taking fire safety measures, photography. So each course and each course teacher will be making something towards the society from his course or her course. So this is our agenda for this semester, spring 2024. So
Great.
this is how we have made plan. This photo is actually an informal photo. It's not, it wasn't published anywhere. It's an informal
Sure.
photo that how many of us were there. And coming back to the previous point,
Yes.
we call the Department of Journalism, Media and Communication, in short, JMC. JMC is a family. Why we call it a family? Because we have a very little number of students, because the university has 25,000 students and we have around 300 students only in our journalism department. But we call it a family because whenever any of us, including teachers, administrative officers, students, they get into any problem, if you need blood, everyone will be there. If you need money for treatment, everyone will be there. Right now, one of our students is suffering from a tumor on his heart that cannot be removed. So it is turning into a cancer. He is a second-year student. So we are planning some cultural shows, money-raising events inside campus and outside campus for his treatment, and we want to support him. So, but we are not going to support him until his family says it's okay. So
Right.
we
Yeah,
are
of
waiting.
course.
We
Of
are
course.
yes. We are waiting for his family's response. They are in India right now for treatment in Chennai, the cancer hospital. So whenever his parents are going to say that they needs money, we are ready to do everything. We'll raise the money for his treatment as much as we can do. I don't know if we can cover the whole money, but we can at least we can try with the full effort.
Yeah.
So this is how journalism department here at Daffodil International University works. So we are all
Let's
for one.
let's stop for a second.
Yes.
And really because I want to make sure that we can get the notes going earlier rather than later, because they really do become a critical part of our class, and also what we're trying to develop with the global class, which is collective
Mhm.
learning and recorded. What would you say to Mayreen at this point, Aftab? I'll take the camera over to her, okay? Um,
Okay. Sure.
what would you say are some of the critical points around leadership that you are trying to practice now, and that you are hoping also to practice in the future around this event? Some of the Let's start with some of the things that you feel that you're doing right now, that are really clear in terms of your attempt in your leadership position to make things better in the future. That's the critical part, is the future now, making sure that events like this, tragedies like this, don't happen again. So far, what would you say you've been doing that we could put into the notes? And there's Mayreen. She's ready for for your notes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, from the leadership point, we try to engaging all the stakeholders, all the people,
Nice.
and
Engage,
we have
engage.
to come up with empathy.
Yep. If there's anything in Burhan or Burhak, if you think there's something that Aftab is saying at this point that should be put in the notes in terms of what's important takeaway for us that we're learning from his example, please put it in the live chat and we will bring it up and put it into the notes, okay? But we'll let Aftab continue.
And the
And
last,
here, if there's anything, just make a mental note. And then when Aftab is done, we're going to add your thoughts as well, okay? Go ahead, Aftab.
and the last point would be like leadership is not only about commanding. We have to listen to everyone. A good leader listens to everyone, but makes the decision. That's what I would say. Makes the decision, but listens to everyone, because anyone could add any valuable point at any time.
So you've been doing, would you say, a lot more listening than talking lately?
Yes, yes, because what others think, because I believe my students are smarter than me, so I listen to them.
Sure. They can be, no
Yeah,
question.
it is. It is. I believe
Absolutely.
it.
If they care, that's all. If they care,
Yes,
I'm amazed. It's just getting that motivation.
because
But that's
if I
great.
call them, they come. They show up. So
Yeah,
they show up from the. They have their own leadership skills. So
yeah.
they are the future leaders. So I have to listen to them.
What about the bigger system in
Mhm.
Dhaka, in Bangladesh, that you're finding yourself up against now? You mentioned to me before the class that there had been more fires since
Yes.
that incident.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, apart from the care and
Mhm.
leadership that you've taken on making sure that the memory of the student who died is absolutely front and center, and that his family also is honored and is front and center. Then there's that other more difficult part of leadership, which is dealing with the system that might have
Right.
caused this. How's that going?
Well, I'm not going to say it in detail over here right now, Prof, but I have given you some hints. Actually, there have been many fire incidents, and what's going on, I, from my journalistic mind, I can say that there has been a political involvement, not local politics. It could be geopolitical involvement, and yes, sometimes we call it casualty of or the damage of targeting someone, like if a plane is flying over a person is flying on a plane, if we want to kill them, we have to kill the plane full of people. So it could be something like that as well. The
I think I have
incidents.
a word for that. I think I have a term for that, which is an
Yeah,
interesting term called
collateral damage.
collateral
Collateral damage.
damage. Collateral
Yes.
damage. Okay, so hmm. Okay, keep going. Yeah, because I think this is the more important part for
Yes.
the students and others watching is the idea of how you're dealing with this larger, more complex, difficult issue of the system that is in
Yes.
place that may have caused this. Yeah.
And some stupid reporter, I would say that, I'm sorry for my language, some stupid reporter made a point on actually the student of mine who died. He was a Hindu student. His religious belief was Hinduism. But they want to, some stupid reporters made some points on religious point of view, and other issues came up there, that my student went there with his ex-girlfriend to meet, something like that, on that restaurant, because they have broken up, but they want to meet again. They wanted to meet again. That's what the news says. They went there, but that girl was actually more complicated, because her all the documents shows she is Muslim, but she claimed that she is a Hindu. So people found, and the stupid journalist found something fishy there. That why she is claiming to be from another religion, and this guy and boy both had, and a girl both had something fishy involved against the country. It was something against the country's security. This kind of things news came up and made it really dirty, and made it
Wow.
really confusing and controversial. So people who were with us at the beginning mostly left because of the controversy, because they think it's a controversy. But how can a student could be controversial? Yes, the girl, maybe, I don't know why she wanted to identify herself as a Hindu, being a Muslim, but that's not relevant to how they died because
Yeah,
of the fire safety,
sure,
right? That's a
sure.
completely different. So the entire fire incident turned into a Hindu and Muslim love affair, affection, this kind of thing. After a week, the entire thing diverted. So the media, we call it, we have a term on this, the media trial. So
Well,
the
this
media.
is actually fascinating that you've brought this up,
Mhm.
and I think that there's a real opportunity here as a teaching moment,
Right.
particularly around leadership, to understand how you would deal with this. Let's
Right.
can we? Is it okay if we stop here for a moment, Aftab, and
Absolutely, bro.
and analyze this? Just a
Sure, bro.
second. I want to make sure everybody understands what he just said. I think you do. Is anybody confused, or did you get that a reporter reporting on this instead of dealing with the event itself, which is that 40 plus people died, and there is a detail, by the way, that I think is relevant here. I may be wrong, but one of the reasons why they died is that the glass around the restaurant that they were in was completely sealed. There was no way for them to escape. And that's how buildings may be designed, okay? But fair enough, fair enough. And but the image I had in my mind that is haunting and horrific is of people trying to get out, banging against glass, the smoke and fire filling, and they're incinerated. Yeah, that's a horrific image. Now, why a reporter would go in and instead of talking about these things and where we may ask some questions around codes of building and other things, He's talking about the religion of two of these individuals and that they may be somehow responsible for their own fate here. Maybe this to me seems like a moment where a lot of leaders have to grapple with public attention that comes to what you're doing. And the media, the mainstream media, takes it somewhere else. And you, the person in charge, know what is important here, but you're struggling with this element of the media have taken it somewhere else. And what do you do? How do you make sure that that it gets back on course and we're talking about what matters? Did you want to say, Jamie? Are you good? I see the mic there, or anybody else? But this to me is an interesting moment of what would you think about it for a moment? It's called gossip. Gossip. That's what the reporter is doing. He's gossiping. And it's done all over social media all the time. Everybody's gossiping. So imagine if you are trying to make change, positive change, and you wake up and Instagram, Meta, TikTok, and Snapchat, and all these are filled with all sorts of really irrelevant, simple minded things that have hijacked this. What would you do? And Aftab must be, you can feel the a bit of the anger in him. You know, he's a stupid reporter, but you know, Aftab, you've got a problem. How are you going to deal with the fact that people have now lost interest or are not motivated because they are buying into these speculative, gossipy things? How do you deal with that? Jamie, do you
Well,
want to
Prof,
try? Go,
I would
Aftab,
like
go
to.
ahead.
I would love to add a line because
Yeah.
actually, with a heavy heart, I have to say this because we wanted to give the family a good amount of money for because they lost their only child, only boy, and the
Yeah.
girl is actually young. She goes to school, so for a financial backup, we want to do something for the family. But those reports, when they published, our management, our authority got scared because they thought things the guy is controversial. So till now, they're holding the check of around
Oh,
5,000 US dollars, equivalent to 5,000 US dollars. So they're holding the check because the university authority thinks if the guy is controversial, then it doesn't worth it. So this is how I'm struggling with every step because the media for the hit or the clickbait news, the family is actually suffering. And
yeah,
another thing is the newspaper that publishes this kind of news for more hits and more likes. The editor of that newspaper is the press advisor of our honorable prime minister. So we cannot go
yeah.
against him because he is the law. So this
Wow.
is why
This
we
is
are struggling.
okay. We have a from a learning standpoint, Aftab, I just thank you from the bottom of my heart that we are able to participate in this with you as he's going through this. I cannot tell you, and for those watching the recording and others, you are part of a live, real time situation of an individual who's trying to lead an effort to make positive change, and he's run into some roadblocks. Now, Maureen, could you got critical notes here? I can't. Can you go over it because she's doing some other things too at the same time? But let us try and help, for better or for worse, Aftab get beyond these roadblocks. We're going to think it through with him. Now, we do this very respectfully, Aftab. We are not in the trenches as you are right now. We are far away. But from an intellectual standpoint, we're going to jump into the trenches with you right now and try to understand. First, we need a definition. What exactly is the problem here? We need to write that out on the board. Aftab's going to help us with that. And then we need to come up with an action plan, because that's what we do as leaders. We first face our problems head on. I appreciate what Aftab has said, that it's a stupid reporter. But, and I'm going to say this only for the sake of teaching, that's not good enough. And he knows that. He's letting off some steam. Just the way you would let off some steam by waking up and seeing all this garbage on social media about your initiative. Maybe it's something you've tried to do, and now they're bringing up something about, a relationship you've been having with somebody. And that's what everyone wants to talk about now, not the real thing. And you're so angry. And all you want to do is jump on social media and start replying and replying and replying, just like Donald Trump used to do. He'd give us texts at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 10, 15 of them coming off the top of his head. But lots of angry people do that. That's not leadership. So what are you going to do? Well, first, what's the problem exactly? Aftab, could you define it for Mayreen and write it down, and then we're going to get the solutions. What exactly is the problem that you are facing in a sentence or two? Oh, hold on. Oh, you're muted. Go ahead. You're muted. I'll bring you back. We can't hear you here. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Well, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
muted.
go ahead. Go rewind and start to tell us before you got muted. So start again. Go ahead.
Well, I'm getting blocked by every steps of doing anything, because the entire thing has turned up into a framing of or the priming of a newspaper and
Yeah.
news online. So I'm getting dumped by every major stakeholders, because they think it's controversial, where it is not. It is they have made it controversial to deny the actual fault by the system.
Okay, so we would write down that Aftab's problem is that he is losing his stakeholders, the people he's relying on, his team, to help him make change. He's finding himself more alone now. Is that correct, Aftab? You're losing the stakeholders. You're finding. Oh, we lost your audio again for some reason. Could be here. I don't know.
Okay, my team
Yeah.
is there. My team, my colleagues, my students, my ex-students, they're there. But the management and the mass people, they are not actually. They are finding it not very. They are finding the tragedy less important than
Yeah.
the love affair thing. They think
Okay.
that is much more interesting.
Okay. So you're losing some important stakeholders because a controversy has developed
Right.
that is irrelevant,
Yes.
but nonetheless is affecting the course of your project.
Right.
Okay? Great.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. We've got the problem. Richie wants to say something. Go ahead, Rich.
I just had a question for Aftab.
Yep.
So these two individuals died in the fire, or how are they involved with the fire? And is the controversy because of their religious backgrounds, or I just wanted to get that clear.
Okay, I'm trying to make you clear that first of all, the guy you saw in the picture, he was my student.
Yeah.
His name is Tushar. So he might have a relationship with the girl.
Oh,
She's not in this picture. She's from another university. So both of them died on the day, and
okay.
people are
Both of
saying they
them.
both were dating. Yes, both of them
It
died.
was just this.
So actually,
Got it.
people
Got
or
it.
the news says that they were in a relationship, and then
Oh,
they went to that restaurant after their breakup, and they broke up. Actually, after their relationship, they broke up, and then they both of them went to meet on the restaurant for some final words, and both of them died on that restaurant. That's the entire thing. Maybe they were in a relationship, which is not proven yet, but it might be a 22, 23 years old guy might have a relationship with a same age girl. It's not a problem. But the problem where arises, the guy was a Hindu guy, and the lady who claimed to be a Hindu lady, but actually her father and mother and the entire family is Muslim. So she actually uh, hide her identity to the society, to her office, to the university, everywhere. That may be controversial, but the thing is, my student died. He was not controversial. Maybe he was in a relationship with someone who was controversial. I don't care. I do care about. 46 people died on that day, including one of my students. So the entire thing, the entire restaurants and the buildings and the gas cylinders are not safe. That's the major problem. The problem isn't that who is
Mm.
Hindu and who is Muslim, who is with the relationship with whom. I don't care
of
about it. It's
course.
their personal life and personal choice. I hope I have made you a little bit clear.
Yes, you have.
Can you come up so he can see you? Yeah, it's just the can. Richie's going to come up and sit in the high chair, and we might bring some others up shortly. But want to sit here so he can see you nice and clearly. Okay. After yeah, go go
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So it just came uh to like to my. I just came to recently find out that there was a lot of animosity between Hindus and Muslims in India or in that part of the world,
Bangladesh. Yeah,
Bangladesh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but I'm very shocked to see the real world circumstances of that animosity, that conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, religion is a big issue here till now. It's not a thing that we can practice on our own.
Okay.
You know,
It's a big issue.
go ahead, Richie. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of understand that kind of environment where people kind of refuse to integrate because of their traditional or religious backgrounds. I kind of understand that. I'm from a country that has those kind of issues as well.
Where are you from, Richie?
From Kenya.
Kenya. Okay.
Yeah.
I have so many students from Somalia and Nigeria.
Okay.
I
That's
had and
that's
I have listened to them so many times. I think you can relate.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just shocked to see that to hear that the story ended up panning out that way. But
Right.
I'm kind of surprised, but I'm not also not surprised because these kind of things happen back home all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as an educator, I absolutely love it when we're on the rawest of nerves. That's where we can really learn. So right now, Aftab, if it's okay, I'm going to stay in this moment with you about what to do in this situation. I just want to clarify for everybody and make sure, for the sake of accuracy, would you say that the problem you're facing right now, Aftab, that you've defined and we're exploring, is the biggest problem you've run into so far with your initiative?
Well, my university is not supporting me, first of all. the management of the university, because they thinks too that it might be a controversial issue to help the family of the student.
Ooh, okay. Is is it
So
okay
the
if we talk? Are you comfortable talking about this with us?
yes,
Remember, good,
yes,
because
no,
this is
no
all
problem.
for the sake of education. I'm not interested in conflict for conflict's sake,
Mhm.
because I know that the world of media, because I come from that world, believe me, I understand it. The entertainment world, all of this, everything is built around conflict.
Right,
But I'm afraid to say that conflict is also a fundamental part of leadership. You have to deal with very difficult situations where people are
right,
opposing you, where you are angry at others. So we do need to explore this conflict and we do need to understand it. So Aftab has identified the problem. Could we spend the next 15 to 20 minutes having a discussion with Richie, and we'll bring Jamie, would you be able to sit up here? Yeah, come up. He's got the microphone. Which is, what exactly is the action plan going forward so that AFTAB can achieve his objective? And AFTAB, the objective with your original plan, what would you say it is? Put away the problem you're facing right now. Exactly. What exactly is your goal? What are you trying to achieve with your plan? Go ahead.
me.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I want to do everything good in my home. I want to do something for my student. First of all, my student who suffered and his family suffered.
Yeah.
So that's the first plan, and then the second plan is doing something for the people whom actually who died. We cannot do anything for them as a university or as a educational platform, but we can
Yes.
educate people, the mass people. We can educate them that how to be safe with this kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's our big plan, to educate people as an education
Put that
institute.
down, okay? Two, so two goals he's got,
Right.
because the reason I'm asking you this is because in our action plan that we're going to do together, we
Mhm.
have to help him with some ideas on how to achieve his goals in spite of the situation he's in now. You will be facing this constantly. And whatever you do, you will have a plan, a goal, and then something comes up and it's derailing you. It's pulling you away. It's making that goal seem more and more difficult to reach. How are you going to bring it back? How is AFTAB going to get back on course and ensure that his university is supporting him, ensuring that the stakeholders come back? Or maybe he needs some other solutions. We don't know. But the goal is help the family of the victim and the victim himself, although that it's more the family at this point, help them, and then help all the others. The 40, how many people died again in this? 40,
46.
46. So there's
Right.
46 other victims with families. That's a
Right.
lot of people. And is it fair for me to say after that maybe we would add a third goal potentially, which is you want to make some kind of positive change in your own country, in your own community
Yes.
that will have some
Yes.
lasting impact. Is that true?
Right. Right. That's
Yeah.
what we are trying to educate
Okay.
people on, building safety or residential or restaurant safety.
Yeah. Good. So, are you ready to start putting down some action points for AFTAB? You got to think really hard, and I'll come into the live chat and see. Get ready, okay, Jamie? And I'm going to see what's happening over with. I know Burak is going to have something to say. I wouldn't be surprised if he's. Burak, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. Okay, Burhan, are you still there? Good. I see his. It went on. He's there. Okay. Barak, because he has, I know, a developing leader in him. I can see it in the way that he's. So, Barak, let's help Aftab, and we will see where we go with this. What should he do? Let Barak, jump on your microphone and tell us, okay? And then we'll come to Richie and Jamie. Go ahead.
Tough one. Really.
You want to think about it?
Yeah, I want to think about
Good,
it.
good. Okay. Is this a difficult problem for you to think about, Barak?
Well, I can produce a lot of bullet points about something, but I want to create something that is actually, in depth.
Good. Okay. Take your time, okay, and write it down, and we'll come back to you. Let's go to Burhan. Is there anything you'd like to say about this in terms of action items for Aftab? Help him with some ideas on what to do.
I have the same kind of point of view as Brock. Like I can make a lot of points surrounding this topic, but I want to say something with more meaning to it.
Good, good. Excellent. Both of you are saying, and I'm going to take you at your word, which is we will come back to you in 15, 20 minutes and see if you've given this some deeper thought. That's what good leaders do. They hold one thought, one difficult thought in their head for a long time. They don't get distracted. They get distracted, problem continues. They focus on the problem, and they focus and focus, problem gets solved. So I'm serious. I'm going to come back to both of you to ask you for meaning, okay? And let's go to Richie. Go ahead.
So, the question you asked earlier, how do you combat, sensationalism? Like media.
Sensationalism. Yeah, that's a problem. Sensationalism.
Yeah.
How do you combat sensationalism?
So, a good example of how to do that is actually, from what I have seen, Donald Trump himself. In the run up to his election in 2016, there was a lot of media stories that were going around during that time, including for his opponent as well. But one of the things that impressed me was he took on took it on like
Took it on.
yeah, directly. Like, so if somebody released some information about him that he didn't like,
Yes.
he would go to the media and rebut those claims or start his own controversy. So there's there's ethical and moral issues to that. But
Yep, sure.
I think a good solution would be to go to the media yourself, or the family of the deceased. Maybe do an interview to explain who the person was. Um, the maybe the like to explain maybe the controversy around the relationship and all that. So yeah, I think that would be a good solution. Yeah.
What should Maureen write as the point? Because that's there's a good idea there, but let's get it down into a few words. This is the checklist of action plan, what AFTAB maybe needs to do or could think about.
I would say there's different ways to tackling the media, the problem of the media, but
Okay.
I would say use the power of the media against itself.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Use the power of the media against itself. Face it head on. Okay. Now, just remember, all of these ideas we're putting down for AFTAB are coming from a different culture, thousands of miles away, and AFTAB knows that. But I want him to at least process this and then let us know what he thinks. So AFTAB, I'll let the students give their points, and then you're the one who's going to tell us in the end what you think and what is realistic. Okay, for you? Is that fair? Yeah, great. Okay. Again, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of this. This is outstanding from my perspective. Real learning. Okay, Jamie, what do you think? Tell us as much as you like, and then be ready to crystallize it into a point for Mayreen.
Well, I like what you were saying about sort of taking the media on head on. One thing I find with I don't know if it's all media, but definitely like Western media, is they do sort of a both sides instead of like they don't have any actual opinions. So they'll put both sides up and just say, well, this guy's a racist, this guy's not. Leave it up to you. And they'll just, I mean, they let both sides play out, which is, I guess good to some degree. But they have a 24-hour news cycle. Like,
Yeah.
so they're constantly looking for whatever little tidbit of information that they can put on the air to fill that void of time. It's not like your 6 o'clock news, you get 1 hour. Here's the highlights of what's going on in the world. It's 24/7.
Yes.
So they're finding that little aspect, like the different religions between the couple.
Yes.
Which I don't. I'm not religious, so I don't get the problem.
But you can understand we're living
I can
in a
see
different
where they're coming from.
culture. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So I would to start off, I'd ask why the media is focusing on such a bigotry notion. Like, why does that matter? And then you would have to pivot to stay on message, stay on brand. Say this isn't the important part that you're focusing on. Continue with your message. This is what's going on.
Sure.
We have this corruption. We have restaurants, in this case, that were operating illegally or in illegal fashion.
Yes. Yes.
With containers, gas containers that were improperly stored. And this is the result of what can happen, rather than focusing on the 2 people who died who may or may not have a controversial opinion.
Yeah.
Which just speaks volumes. If she is a Muslim and she didn't convert from one religion to another, maybe for love, what does it say about society if you have to say, I'm not this one religion, I have to be this one, otherwise you're going to get persecuted for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And worse, that tragedies like this may happen again because nobody
Because no
wants
one's
to pay
facing
attention to
Manhattan.
the real issue here.
Yeah.
So what should Mayreen write as an action item for? So we're talking about a person now. It's Aftab. We need to write it with a verb at the beginning, a verb for him, so that it's his action. What would it be?
You need to stay the course. You need to not let that fog, that the muddying of waters to affect you. You need to, I guess, just stay true to your message and
Stay the course.
stay the course.
Stay the course. Stay true to your message. What do you think? And address the real issue.
So focus on what the actual issue is. And I mean, you can address the little bit that they're saying and just say, just why is it that this is what you're focusing on? Why are we not focusing on the real issues?
Good.
Be the best thing I can say.
Yeah, no, that's great. And Barack's ready now with some meaning, and we'll come. Jazeel and Grayson, we'll come to you if you want, okay? Get ready, you don't have to, but it's really important that at least you are listening to what's going on, because this is real live problem solving, and this is life, and you're going to face a lot of this as a leader, I guarantee you. Okay, good. So Aftab's back. We're continuing Aftab with Jamie is just put on there, and what we've written for you from Jamie's point, and I can just bring it over. Well, you can see it on the big board as well. I don't have to go close up. Mayreen.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Stay on course to address the real issue. Okay,
Mhm.
so you don't need to respond yet. Just we're going to give you these things to think about. Next is Barack. Barack, please go ahead.
Well, I've think about the issue and I just realized something that is horrible about humanity, because we actually created social media, and I just realized when any news, it doesn't matter, any news, when it reaches the social media, left media, right media, just take that news, melt it in a pot, and just shape it in a way that they're benefiting from it. And
That-
the only way to stop this, in my opinion, is to actually probably gather like a new agency that actually gathers the victims of that event that took place and make a big press conference. So everybody, like, it's on national news, so everybody actually gets that news from the actual victims. So it's going to be altered anyway by the left or right. It's going to be melted and shaped so they're benefiting that side. But at
yes.
least when there's victims involved, people usually take a step back and reconsider everything, I believe.
So I'm going to take you over to Maureen for a second so you can see it and you can be nice and direct. Tell Maureen for right now, with a verb at the beginning, because this is action for Aftab. So action is in a verb. So use a verb at the beginning and then just tell her in a sentence or two, and she's going to process it. We're going to help her. What's
Well,
the action item for
I
Aftab?
would say use the actual people, like use the credible sources and the people that actually were at that place to make a big press conference to transfer the real thing to the people,
Hmm. Let's
which
see.
I think Aftab already tried to did, right? I mean, he was with the victims. Uh, he was actually with the people that were out of this mess, like with the families. That actually is huge. And
Yeah,
that's the right path to take, because otherwise people are just not going to care and just see the news from the social media and be like,
sure.
this news agency says this, but other news agency says that. Which one is true?
Right.
Very good. Very good. Involve people. And there are a lot. There's 46 families here. We call that, in this part of the world, a class action lawsuit. That's what happens. That is what happens. Class action lawsuits. But, okay, excellent, Barak. Burhan has written something. Way to go, guys. You are absolutely in this. And Burhan, could you jump on your microphone and just read out loud what you've written, please?
Well, a summary of what I wrote is the fact that Aftab actually did take the responsibility to kind of arrange a funeral for this young boy that was in his class. And although the relationship with his, let's say, his girlfriend it was controversial. It did have conflict, and the two religions have been at conflict for a while now. And there has been this sense of a sense of controversy, of course. Um, although focusing on the main kind of um, topic would be the death of the young boy, we could use social media as a source of sympathy from the people, being able to change their views on how they look at the situation, and just more so.
Very good. Very good. So I'm going to do again what we did with Barak is now you've got Maureen, you've got her head, you've got her hand. Great. So what's the action item for Aftab? And use a verb at the beginning for because that's action. So what should he do now?
Use
Say it again.
social media as a catalyst for sympathy from the people.
Use social media as a catalyst for sympathy. Oh, now we have a really good, and I'm sure Aftab has heard this, but it's a great one. This is the greatest struggle for a leader. Control the narrative. Aftab, you're letting the narrative run away from you right now.
Right.
You've lost the narrative and people are believing something else. You have to control the narrative. Absolutely, Jamie. That's really
Right.
yeah. Can you make sure you get that up there? Control the narrative. Okay. Way to go, Burhan and everybody. Do you want to say, are you good? Grayson, you good? Yeah? Okay. We need to give Aftab a chance to absorb this and think about this and tell us what he thinks now. But we've just given him some suggestions from the West. I'll keep this very simple. We're in the Western world and he's in the Eastern world. Okay. It's a little more complex, but we'll put it that way for now. All right. We're dealing with two cultures here. Aftab,
Yes, Prime Minister.
now we're in the global class.
Right.
We think about the whole planet, we think about the whole world. So there aren't just two cultures, there's something else bigger. So just keep that in mind and then tell us what you think.
Well,
And
actually,
go ahead.
yes, Prof.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Actually, here in this part of the world, actually, the entire thing runs like the narrative changes. First of all, I would say, because if you observe the Southern Asia's politics, whenever there is a disaster, there is a new news, there is something new happens. Always there's something new happens, and after 3 days or 4 days, another thing happens to take the lens out of the people. People cannot see like whenever people gets into something, there is another controversy, there is another. This is how
Yes.
we are running our South Asian politics and political culture. If there is a problem, we are just discussing it for 3 days, and after 3 to 4 days there something else comes up.
Yeah.
So the mass audience already moved to something else. That's the problem. But we are also working on it. And yes, I like the idea of making the narrative on behalf of us. That's not we are going to do alone. I think my students will also work on that, and then we can actually discuss it more. But the media has already shifted their focus from this fire incident already. The news interest has been lost.
Well, are you ready to take some difficult questions on this?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know you are, and but I'm not going to ask them. I'm going to let Jamie because I think I have a sense. Go. Is it a tough question?
No.
Oh, okay. Go
I'm
ahead.
actually
Yeah.
curious. You had said that there was an investigation being started by the police.
Mhm.
I was wondering just how it was going. Have they,
No update.
what are their findings, if they have any so far?
No update. Actually, if you follow this part of the world, there is always an investigation committee, and then no result comes. Maybe there will be a result after 1 or 2 years, but no concrete proof. We have many incidents like this in here, the southern part of Asia. It's not a problem for only Bangladesh. It's a problem of Pakistan. It's a problem in India. It's a problem in Sri Lanka.
Go ahead, and then we'll come to Jazeel. Okay, Richie? Yeah, please.
So what about the owner of the building? Has there been any news
Yes,
or?
he is one of the most powerful person in Bangladesh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He is a member of the parliament as well.
So is it correct if I is it okay if I ask that okay if I suggest that maybe here's the reason why this story has spun out of control? Because I know
Yeah,
politicians they're very good at
this is
using
what
religion.
yes, this is why what I told in last class, that every big businessman, the giant businessman, they own a media here, and also they are a member of the parliament. So you have politics in your hand, you have money, and you have the media in your hand. So everything you control if you have money.
Wow.
Just more problems.
Yeah.
From a
Yeah.
leadership standpoint, I'm thinking it's just another pressure, another problem we got to deal with.
Right.
Okay, Jazeel.
And
Go ahead.
it's not the problem in Bangladesh, it's the problem the whole world. The rich people, they control the media, except BBC, I guess.
No, BBC's got problems too, but
Yeah.
but nonetheless, yes. Now, so okay, let's keep. I want to make sure everybody has a chance to contribute. Then we're going to conclude. We only have a few minutes left, and we want to let Aftab go. He has eaten, thankfully, after a day of fasting. So,
Yes.
unlike Maureen, who's fasting every day, by the way, and she comes in and her energy's good, and a bit of a warrior over there, by the way.
Yeah. Best luck.
Jazeel,
Best
yeah,
of luck.
okay. Go ahead.
I'm fasting too.
Yeah.
I had the same question as him, and it is mostly answered. But do you think this news about religion and ex-lovers was a deliberate part of media to uh, aw- uh, to uh, sub- to remove the attention and make the overall news irrelevant?
Change the
This
narrative.
kind of
Change the
religious
narrative.
news can change the narrative and
Yeah.
make it overall irrelevant.
Do you think so,
Yes,
Aftab?
this is how people. This is how people thinks. In my opinion, I don't care. If I was not Aftab Hussain, if I was some no, someone else from, if I were a Christian, does it make a thing to you? I don't think so. If someone else is some from some different religion, I don't care, as long as it is not harmful for me or the society. But people actually, what is news? Actually, we have to go back to the news 101 or journalism 101 here. Money, sex, and crime is the first three elements of news. This is the old school of journalism says. So it's a controversy. It's a So people loves to hear more about controversy. We don't want to remember how Bill Clinton, how good man was Bill Clinton, but we all always remember what controversy he had. So people remembers the controversy and the controversy more, the bad news.
Jamie, go ahead.
Actually, just had a point. I like what you said when you're talking about money, sex, and crimes. Those are the three pillars of
Money, sex, and crime.
So, well, 15 years ago now, I was in a sociology class, and one of the things that my professor had taught, and we went over it all, was that over the last 40, 50 years, crime has actually been going down, but the reporting of crime has been going up. So,
Right.
so like crime's at an all-time low, but reporting of it is like 900% above what it used to be. So, like you said, they're sensationalizing it. They're trying to find any little thing that they can
Yeah.
to
Right.
put it on the news.
We have just a few minutes left, so I'm going to hijack this for a moment and give us the final question that needs to be asked, I think, and then Aftab can try, and then we'll let him go, and then we will return perhaps in our final class of the semester, depending on Aftab's time. We can have him join us for just a few minutes to let us know how things are going, but we'll see.
Sure.
Here's the question, Aftab, a difficult question. Could you just write down maybe a question for Aftab? Aftab, how are you going to change the narrative?
Okay.
Now, do you want to try answering that now? You don't have to,
Yes.
but go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. I know the roadmap. I'm not going to work on my student for the narrative. I'm not going to work on the 46 people that died on that fire incident. I'm going to work on the millions of people who goes to restaurants, super shops, and supermarkets, and they live in the buildings which are not safe. So that includes everyone. Everyone means everyone. I'm going to work on this thing. If that is covered, the whole purpose will be covered. Why we are working on all of this? Because we want human safety, the people to be safe. So
Yeah.
if that is covered, we don't want to repeat. We don't want to see the repetition of people dying from this kind of accidents.
want to? We're going to finish up, and then you want to add a thought?
I was just actually wondering, and maybe this is just something that's, I don't know if it's possible in your particular country, but is there a way that maybe you could organize some sort of a protest in defiance of what's going on to bring not just the light of like bring to light the issue in your own sorry, like to your own people, but to bring it to light to the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Like make a big enough spectacle that not just the leaders of your country have to take notice, but the leaders of the world take notice as well.
Mm.
Right.
Maybe apply pressure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let him think about this. The most important thing here is that we've discussed this in a way that can help all of you and all of those watching to think about leadership in a very concrete and difficult way. And Aftab, I again want to thank you for sharing this with us and being part of your process. And I hope that some of the suggestions and what we've brought to you today might be of assistance. But please, if we can, we will check in with you at the end of the semester in 3 weeks or so, even just briefly. Would you be able to come in for a few minutes in the final class just to tell us how it's going? Would you be okay with that?
Yes, Prof. Sure.
Yeah, great. This is such a helpful example of a real life problem solving young leader trying to figure out how to get beyond this problem. So before I wrap up, in the Cosmos, anything there, if you'd like to add, just park it in the live chat and we'll take a look briefly, but I'll make sure I save this so it's a resource. Mayrene's got some good notes on this. Have we missed anything here that needs to be said as we conclude? No? Don't have to say anything. I just want you to think and reflect and remember that you have a big final assignment that's coming in 2 weeks or so. And I will be marking all the third reflections tomorrow and the next coming days. So I look forward to that. Jazeel? Yeah, oh, I see you holding the microphone. Good. It means you almost want to say something. You're thinking. And so I'm going to conclude, and hopefully there are going to be some positive changes for Aftab, but it sounds like he's got his work cut out for him, and we'll do everything we can as thinkers, researchers, and doers in here to assist you, and there may even be things we can do outside of class time. Okay, Aftab, with
Okay, Prof.
our club as it's growing. All right, so I'm here if you need me. Thanks very much, Aftad. Have a good day tomorrow. And when is Eid exactly?
It depends on the moon, but most probably 10th of April or 11th of April.
Okay. By the way, for those of you who are here in this part of the world where the sun is going to be shining next Monday, but it won't be shining in Bangladesh because of the time difference, there's going to be a little history made with the solar eclipse happening. And I highly recommend that if you want to see something really marvelous take place, try to find a way to get close to Niagara Falls, but if not close, then at least, you know, close enough to this line of its totality. Niagara Falls right now is the place to watch this full solar eclipse on Monday. Two of the great natural wonders of the world, Niagara Falls, and then people are going to be gathered there looking up, and for 2 or 3 minutes, they're going to see day turn into night, and the sun is going to be completely covered by the moon, and everything will go dark. And people are going to be standing around there listening to the falls coming, and they will really feel the planet at that point. I do not recommend you go to Niagara Falls. A state of emergency has already been declared there to deal with the 1 million people they're expecting. Apparently in the US, in Buffalo, the local news there has been talking about the eclipse for months. So all the Americans from the East Coast, from Buffalo and New York State and New Jersey and probably New York City are going to be coming up. It's going to be just nuts. But you will be able to, if you find your spot around Hamilton, Burlington, and my wife and I are going to Brock University in St. Catharines, where they have a whole program there of astronomers and physicists who are going to be putting on displays and talking. And then at 3:18 p.m., my wife and I will have arrived there very early in the morning to make sure we have our spot. We're going to watch this solar eclipse happen and remind ourselves that we live on a planet. Don't we? Anyways, take care and see you all next week, okay? Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Aftab. Talk to you soon.